Alright, so I'm now going to dive in and grab Bart Veldhuizen from Shapeways, who's been here on the stand. The guy is superhuman. He goes like this all day, every day when he's here at these fairs. Bart, hi, hello.
Hey Andrew, good morning.
Hey, so, how is it going this morning?
Look around you, we're getting slammed there.
Yeah. And what's the most popular model on the table? What are you finding that people go for the most?
People really love the Throne Base by Theo Jansen, which is one of our articulated models. We 3D print the entire bottom part at once, and it will actually move. Look at that.
Yeah. Now, I was looking at that earlier. I thought it was done with a soluble filler that goes in, but it's not. It's actually done in the sintering process with the powder. So how does that work?
What we do is we build all our models layer by layer, and in the case of sintering, what we do is we lay down one layer of nylon powder, and the laser will solidify one cross-section in that layer at a time. Then we add a new layer and we repeat that process. At the end of that, we have a big box full of white powder, nylon, and we reach in and we just pull out the solid objects.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's like defying gravity in a way for designers.
It's magic, yeah. If you look at that process of unpacking the tray, there's sometimes like hundreds of objects inside there.
Really?
And it's just so amazing to get all this stuff. Yeah.
Okay, now Shapeways has some good news recently. You've raised $30 million in VC capital.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so obviously Bart's going to be spending a lot of that on having an awesome party. But what are you going to spend the rest on?
What we're doing now is we want to do a few things. We want to expand the number of locations where we produce and distribute so we can be closer to our customers, which means we can send to them faster and cheaper. We're expanding our teams as well, so we need a lot of people to work on the website side of things, but also on the back-end side of things, like optimizing our processes, keeping track of our orders, etc. So yeah, we have big plans for this year.
So I'm guessing it must be the back end of this must be massively automated to be able to produce so many items on demand, pack them, ship them. You must have a huge logistics operation.
Absolutely, yeah. And what we found is that there is no standard business software that does what we do.
Yeah.
So we had to write everything ourselves.
Really?
Actually, we rewrote everything last summer when we found that the old software didn't cut it anymore, and we learned a lot in the first 5 years, of course.
So this is amazing. So imagine that. You've got a big worldwide operation, a production facility that has to write its own software to run, to manage the logistics and all of that. Shapeways, so it feels like that is very much a business of the future.
Yes. We like to call our factories the factory of the future as well.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Now, before I go and let Bart get back to the crowds, a lot of questions, I have to show you this. Look at this, look. Captain Kirk's tablecloth. Look at that, isn't that amazing? Okay, so why don't you talk us through this? What am I holding here in my hands?
Well, this is a model made by an architect, and he uses that to model roofs of buildings. And what he made is he modeled one little part here, and in his software he added them all together and left a little gap of space between the parts, so that when you take it out of the printer it becomes articulated again.
Wow.
Yeah. This is actually fairly cheap to produce. So this entire piece of cloth is about £25 to print.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So imagine that. So if you had to create the tooling to put that together, you would be looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Sure, yes, absolutely.
Okay. So now it comes to the big question. I've always wanted to ask this. All right. I've seen bots here you can get for a couple of £100. You can run with a Raspberry Pi. I'm guessing your stuff's a bit more expensive than that.
It doesn't have to be. No, we have a lot of stuff that's fairly cheap. It depends on the material and on the amount of material that you use. So this little stag hat here would cost you about 15 quid to make.
Yeah.
This little silver ring here, which is hand-polished sterling silver, we cast actually, that's about 90 quid, more expensive. And the bigger it gets, the more expensive.
Okay, so I'm guessing that that's on the materials side. What about the machinery? I'm guessing your machinery is super expensive.
Yes, so the thing is, you see a lot of home printers these days, and they go for around 1,000 quid, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're great, it's really nice to make stuff at home, but they have their limitations in resolution and in what you can achieve with them and materials.
So in terms of explaining resolution to the people back home, we're talking about having steps in the material, a bit like you used to get steps on graphics on websites.
Yeah, or how thick the layers are, or how fine the details are that you can make them. So we work with different printers. Every material comes out of a different printer. To give you an idea, the machine that makes objects like this, including supporting equipment, would cost you about $1 million.
$1 million?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't have $1 million and you want to make something like that, there's only one option really. Last word over to Bart.
Yeah, you just upload your stuff to Shapeways and we'll make it for you. Absolutely.
That is amazing, Bart. Thank you very much. This is the future. There it is behind me. And as they say, Made in the future.
What's the